There's a certain kind of feeling that's hard to describe unless you've noticed it yourself. Cold hands that don't seem to warm up, even in a comfortable room. Feet that feel slightly numb or tingly after sitting. That faint heaviness in your legs by the end of the day, as if they've been carrying more than just your weight. It's not dramatic. It doesn't demand attention, but it lingers just enough to make you wonder what's going on underneath. Imagine, for a moment, that your body is like a vast network of roads, not just motorways, but tiny side streets, narrow lanes, and pathways that reach every corner. Your blood vessels, arteries, veins, and capillaries are those roads. They carry oxygen, nutrients, warmth, and signals to every part of you. When traffic flows smoothly, everything feels balanced, warm, responsive, alive in a quiet, effortless way. But when that flow slows down or becomes less efficient, the changes can be subtle. Not blocked roads, but quieter ones. Slower movement. Fewer deliveries reaching the edges as quickly as they used to. This is often what people mean when they talk about poor circulation. Medically, circulation refers to blood flow, the movement of blood through the cardiovascular system driven by the heart. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, veins bring it back, and capillaries, tiny delicate vessels, are where the real exchange happens. This is where oxygen leaves the blood and enters your tissues, and where waste products are collected. So when circulation changes, it's often these smaller vessels, or the efficiency of the overall system, that are involved. Think about your hands or feet for a moment. These are the furthest points from the heart. Blood has to travel all the way down, deliver what's needed, and then make its way back up again. That return journey relies partly on valves in the veins, tiny one-way doors, and partly on muscle movement. Every time you walk, shift, or even flex your muscles, you help push blood back toward the heart. So what happens when there's less movement? Blood can begin to pool slightly in the lower parts of the body. Not dangerously, but enough to create that feeling of heaviness or mild swelling. The return journey becomes slower, and the system feels less dynamic. That's one piece of the puzzle. Another involves the diameter of your blood vessels, something called vasoconstriction and vasodilation. These terms simply mean narrowing and widening of the vessels. In colder environments, your body naturally constricts blood vessels near the surface of the skin. This helps conserve heat by keeping warm blood closer to your core. But it also means less warm blood reaches your hands and feet, which is why they can feel cold. So that cold sensation isn't random. It's a protective response. Your body prioritizing temperature regulation. There's also the role of the nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system, the part that runs automatically, controls things like heart rate, vessel tension, and blood distribution. Stress, fatigue, and even subtle changes in mood can influence how blood is directed around the body. Have you ever noticed your hands feeling colder when you're anxious or tense? That's not your imagination. It's your nervous system adjusting blood flow in response to perceived demand. Then there's the structure of the vessels themselves. Over time, blood vessels can become less flexible. This is sometimes referred to as reduced vascular elasticity, meaning they don't expand and contract as easily as they once did. When vessels are less responsive, blood flow can feel less efficient, particularly in the smaller capillaries. And because capillaries are where oxygen delivery happens, any change in flow here can subtly affect how tissues feel. Cooler, slower to respond, slightly more fatigued. There's a common misconception that poor circulation always means something is blocked or severely wrong. But often, what people experience day to day is more about efficiency than obstruction. It's about how smoothly blood is moving, how well vessels are responding, and how actively the system is being supported by movement and rhythm. Another lesser-known detail is how much gravity influences circulation. When you're upright, blood naturally moves downward. The body works continuously to return it upward, especially from the legs. This is why elevation, simply changing position, can sometimes create a noticeable shift in how your legs or feet feel. It's not fixing anything, it's just changing the physics. There's also a sensory side to this. Nerve endings in your skin and tissues are constantly interpreting signals, temperature, pressure, oxygen levels. When blood flow is slightly reduced or slower, these signals can feel different. Tingling, mild numbness, or that pins and needles sensation can appear. This happens because nerves are very sensitive to their environment. Even small changes in circulation can alter how they communicate. But again, these sensations are not random. They're reflections of what's happening in real time. The body is incredibly adaptive. If one area is receiving slightly less blood flow, it doesn't simply stop functioning. It adjusts, it redistributes, it prioritizes. And sometimes the sensations you feel are part of that adjustment process. If you return to that road network idea, it's less about roads being closed and more about traffic patterns shifting. Some areas get less flow for a while, others more. And the system is constantly recalibrating. Certain everyday habits can influence how this system feels. Gentle, regular movement encourages blood flow without strain. It activates the muscles that help push blood through veins. Even small movements, standing up, stretching, walking across a room, create subtle changes in circulation. Breathing also plays a role. The pressure changes created by the diaphragm as you breathe help move blood through the chest and back toward the heart. Slow, steady breathing can create a rhythm that supports this flow. Warmth, too, has an effect. Heat encourages blood vessels to widen, which can increase blood flow to the skin and extremities. That's why warmth often brings a sense of ease or comfort to cold hands and feet. Clothing and environment can subtly shape circulation as well. Tight garments may influence how easily blood moves through certain areas, while posture can affect how vessels are compressed or relaxed. And then there's hydration. Blood is largely made of plasma, which is mostly water. When the body is well hydrated, blood maintains a consistency that supports smooth flow. But none of these exist in isolation. Circulation is not controlled by one single factor. It's the result of multiple systems working together: heart, vessels, muscles, nerves, environment. And importantly, it's always in motion. So when you notice those small sensations, coolness, tingling, heaviness, it's not necessarily a sign of something going wrong. It's often a sign of something shifting. A system adapting to position, temperature, movement, or internal state. And when you begin to see it that way, those sensations can feel less uncertain. Because underneath it all, your body is still doing what it's designed to do, moving, adjusting, responding. Not perfectly, not identically every day, but continuously. And in that quiet, ongoing movement, there's a kind of steadiness that's easy to overlook until you start paying attention to it. Here are 5 lesser-known, science-backed ways your body can support circulation, focusing on how flow is influenced beneath the surface. 1. Calf pumping without walking. The calf muscles are often called the peripheral heart because they help push blood back up toward the heart. Even small, repeated ankle movements, like flexing your feet up and down, activate this pump and improve venous return, blood flowing back through the veins. 2. Hand and foot warming before movement. Warming extremities first can trigger vasodilation, widening of blood vessels, allowing more blood to reach those areas. Once vessels are more open, movement becomes more effective at maintaining flow. 3. Elevation changes, raising and lowering limbs. Alternating positions, like briefly raising your legs, then returning them to normal, uses gravity to shift blood flow. This change in pressure can encourage circulation to redistribute more efficiently. 4. Gentle rhythmic bouncing or swaying. Small, repetitive movements, like lightly bouncing on your feet or swaying side to side, stimulate muscle contractions and improve microcirculation, flow in tiny blood vessels. It's subtle, but it keeps blood from becoming too stagnant in one area. 5. Humming or vocal vibration. Humming creates vibrations in the chest and throat that can stimulate the vagus nerve, a key part of the nervous system. This can influence heart rate variability and blood vessel tone, indirectly supporting smoother circulation. The common thread here is rhythm. Circulation responds best to gentle, repeated signals rather than force. I hope this has helped. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Take care.